Imagine a world where the high seas were ruled not by the notorious male pirates of law, but by a terrifying woman whose very name struck fear into the hearts of many. This isn't a tale from a forgotten fantasy novel, but a chapter from the thrilling pages of Chinese history. It features not one, but four extraordinary women. From the pirate queen who commanded a vast navy, to revolutionaries who fought for freedom and rights, and even an empress caught in the twilight of an empire. Their stories are as diverse as they are captivating. We'll also learn about a modern icon who dances across the boundaries of tradition and identity, challenging norms and inspiring millions. Through their struggles, triumphs, and legacies, we'll uncover how these women defied the odds in a world that often tried to silence them. Stick around as we journey through time, from the turbulent waters of the South China Sea to the grand halls of the Forbidden City, and onto the global stage of contemporary dance and advocacy. We'll dive into the tragic beauty of Empress Wanrong's existence, explore the revolutionary enthusiasm of Qiu Jin, be inspired by Jin Sing's courage to live authentically in a world that often resists change, and finally, learn about the life of Ching Sha, the pirate queen who became the terror of the Qing dynasty's navy. Each of these women's stories builds upon the last, ending in a narrative rich with intrigue, defiance, and transformation. Let's start in the shadowed corridors of the Forbidden City, where the echoes of a bygone era linger. Here, the stories of Empress Wanrong unfolds like a tragic opera in a rapidly changing China. Born into the distinguished Manchu border yellow banner, Wanrong's life took a dramatic turn when, at the tender age of 16, she was wed to Pu Yi, the last emperor of a fading dynasty. This marriage was arranged in the relics of imperial majesty. This was a desperate attempt to preserve the Qing traditions in a country on the brink of modernity. Empress Wanrong's life in the walls of the Forbidden City was nothing short of a gilded cage. The once all-powerful Qing dynasty had crumbled, leaving Pu Yi a mere shadow of his ancestors, reigning over a palace that had become more museum than monarchy. The 1911 Xinhai Revolution had rewritten the fate of the empire, turning the storied halls where Wanrong lived into echoes of China's imperial past. However, she and Pu Yi remain there as artifacts of a lost world, living in luxurious isolation as the Republic flourished beyond their palace gates. Then came the Japanese occupation of Manchuria. Pu Yi, now a pawn in a greater geopolitical game, became the figurehead of Manchukuo. This was a puppet state under Japanese dominion. For Wanrong, this period marked a descent from the secluded yet serene life of the Forbidden City to the turbulent politics of war and occupation. Her role as Empress of Manchukuo confined her further. She wasn't in golden chains, but in the iron grip of a foreign power that manipulated her husband and controlled her fate. As the tides of World War II changed, leaving devastation and a new world order in their wake, Wanrong's story went toward its sad conclusion. Captured by Soviet forces and subsequently handed over to the Chinese government, she and Pu Yi faced a reality far removed from their imperial past. Wanrong, battling health issues and trapped in the aftermath of a lost empire, lived out her final days in obscurity, a far cry from the splendor she was born into. The mystery of Empress Wanrong's death in 1946, officially ruled a suicide, adds a sad epilogue to her story. Questions linger, shrouded in the mists of speculation and the shadows of a historical period filled with turmoil. Was her demise the tragic conclusion of a life spent trapped by circumstance, or was there more to the story, hidden by the passage of time and the complexities of a nation in flux? She may not have directly impacted China, but her story was still important to its history. Her life, filled with luxury and tragedy, became an example of the resilience and endurance of the spirit, even in the face of overwhelming odds. Now, let's travel back to the late 19th century, in the fading glow of China's imperial splendor. Here, a figure emerged whose courage and conviction would make her an essential part of history. Chu Jin, born in the lush landscapes of Fujian province, was not one to be confined by the traditional roles society had laid out for women. From an early age, she had a never-ending thirst for knowledge and a fierce spirit. She studied classical Chinese literature and martial arts with her brother. These actions foreshadowed the remarkable path she would blaze. Qiu Jin's marriage at the tender age of 21 could have been a chapter that chained her to the domestic life expected of women of her time. Instead, it became a launching pad for her activism and scholarly pursuits. She relished her studies and social activism, her heart and mind aflame with ideas of reform and equality. Qiu Jin's voice went beyond the halls of her home and into the public sphere, where she called for a radical idea: women's rights and education. Chu Jin founded Zhongguo Bao, a women's journal that became a model for those who dared to dream of a world where women were equals. Through her writings, she challenged the ironclad restrictions of traditional gender roles, urging women to seek education and independence. Her pen was mightier than the sword, yet she wielded both with equal skill, becoming the very essence of the warrior poet. Qiu Jin's commitment to revolution and reform led her to join forces with the Tongmenghui. This was a revolutionary organization spearheaded by Sun Yat-sen. Her activism took on a new dimension as she plunged into revolutionary politics, aiming to dismantle the very foundations of the Qing dynasty's rule. She became dedicated to the cause of freedom and equality. However, in 1907, Chu Jin's enthusiastic participation in the movement against the Qing authorities led to her arrest. Imprisoned and facing the gravest of consequences, she remained courageous. Chu Jin approached her execution with the same courage that had characterized her life. Her final words were a call for revolution, an example of her unbreakable spirit and belief in the cause of liberation. Today, she's celebrated as a pioneering figure in the fight for women's rights and a national heroine whose contributions to the revolutionary movement left a permanent mark on Chinese history. She is seen as a symbol of courage, determination, and the relentless pursuit of equality and freedom. Her story continues to inspire those who champion women's rights and social reform. Her story is a reminder that your own conviction can change the course of history. Then there's Jin Xing, another woman whose story challenged conventions and illuminated the path towards acceptance and understanding. Assigned male at birth, Jin Sing first dazzled China as a skilled dancer, earning accolades and national fame. Her early years were rigorous and disciplined. She joined the People's Liberation Army (PLA) dance troupe and rose to the rank of colonel to meld her artistic passion with military precision. However, beneath the spotlight and accolades, Jin Sing had a secret that would set her on a journey that broke borders and societal expectations. In the early 1990s, she made the brave decision to undergo gender reassignment surgery in New York, becoming one of the first Chinese citizens to do so publicly. This personal transformation was a step into the unknown, challenging societal norms around gender identity in China. Returning to China after her transition, Jin Sing faced an environment steeped in conservative views towards LGBTQ+ issues. However, she was determined. With resilience and an unyielding spirit, she reclaimed her space in the performing arts, elevating her journey as a dancer. Her choreography broke new ground, turning her personal transformation and resilience into performances that captivated audiences. She then hosted a talk show that became a platform for her outspoken views while also judging dance competitions on TV. Her insights and critiques held a mirror to society's evolving perspectives. Through her public persona, Jin Sing became an activist, rejecting traditional norms and creating a dialogue around LGBTQ+ rights and visibility in China. Her journey and public visibility have changed societal attitudes towards transgender individuals and the broader LGBTQ+ community. While the road to acceptance has its challenges, Jin Sing's story reflects a gradual shift. Her courage to live authentically, along with her unparalleled contribution to the arts, makes her an icon of resilience and change. Finally, we have possibly the most famous woman on this list, Ching Sha. This pirate queen was born Shih Yang in Guangdong province. She initially worked in the sex trade before her destiny took a dramatic swerve when she married Cheng Yi. He was a formidable pirate lord whose name sent shivers down the spine of coastal China. This union was the catalyst for Ching Sha's rise in the pirate world. Upon his untimely demise in 1807, Ching Sha seized the reins of power, transforming grief into governance. She inherited a floating empire, commanding a coalition of pirate fleets that became the scourge of the South China Sea. Under her stern gaze, this confederation prospered, its ranks swelling to over 80,000 souls aboard 1,500 ships. It was an example of her unique leadership and strategic skills, but Ching Sha was no mere figurehead. She was the architect of a rigorous code of conduct that bound her crew into a disciplined and tough force. Her laws were strict and her justice swift, ensuring loyalty and order even in the lawlessness of the high seas. To disobey was to invite death. Yet, her fairness in the division of spoils created unwavering allegiance among her fellow pirates. The very expanse of Ching Sha's power drew the anger of the Qing dynasty and the rising might of the British Royal Navy. Both powers launched efforts to stop the tide of piracy she represented. However, through a combination of cunning diplomacy, fierce defense, and perhaps an understanding of the political currents of her time, Ching Sha faced these treacherous waters with confidence, outwitting the empires aligned against her. In 1810, she negotiated a groundbreaking amnesty with the Qing government. This accord secured her a dignified exit from her piratical reign and ensured the welfare of her followers, allowing them to integrate into society with their wealth intact. Ching Sha retired from piracy, not as a defeated outlaw, but as a respected opponent who transformed her power into a peaceful and prosperous retirement. Her legacy lies in her extraordinary journey from the margins of society to the pinnacle of power. Her strategic genius and her ability to command a pirate confederation with both an iron fist and a keen mind, she remains a symbol of strength, resilience, and leadership in the face of impossible odds, a true legend of the high seas. Together, Ching Sha, Qiu Jin, Empress Wanrong, and Jin Sing, each from different eras and walks of life, share a common thread: the courage to defy the expected, to step into the unknown, and to forge their own paths. Their legacies are stories of personal achievements. They are symbols of the broader struggles and triumphs of women throughout history and into the present day. In the end, their stories show a universal truth: that progress in any realm often begins with the bold steps of individuals who dare to dream, to defy, and to lead. They're a reminder of the power each of us holds to create change, challenge injustice, and inspire those who will come after us.